friends, reptiles, people who've watched enough of my back catalogue to know what that's a reference to. Welcome back, and welcome to Ash Makes a Huge Mess for No Reason once again. Welcome back to something that will be, honestly, new for most of you, because back in 2020, early days of my channel and hardly anyone was subscribed to me, I did, for the entire month of October, a new costume every day of the month, mostly out of my own wardrobe, and it was certainly a thing that happened. No, it was fun. I liked it. The idea was to demonstrate that you could take clothes out of your wardrobe and turn them into very characterful costumes very easily. You didn't need to sew anything, or you didn't need to sew very much. There was a little bit of sewing. And there were a few costumes where I let myself be a little bit more, yeah, okay, we're gonna bust out the poly plate. We're gonna wear LARP specific costume items that I have acquired. But largely I tried to keep it to, normal clothes that a normal person could conceivably own. Do you not need anyone to tell me that my wardrobe is not normal? I know it isn't. But you too could dress like me if you just applied yourself. And don't worry, it's gonna be a video about just that coming soon to the channel. I say soon, it's gonna be like December. Anyway, the thing is that when I asked for prompts for that, I actually got way more than 30, probably 70 plus. And some of them were just never gonna work, and so I discarded them, and some of them just wouldn't have made very interesting costumes, but a lot of them would have. And I only did 30, slightly more than 30. The cathedral dress was also from this prompt. I'm certain there was more. I know that the project that I've been working on was there another project, or did I just imagine that I finished that thing that's been sat in a box for 3 years? No, there was my Arwen costume. Lord of the Rings, but make it Star Wars. That was a prompt from the Halloween box. But there were loads more. All of which is to say, we're going back. This is fun for me. This is like OG Ash LG content. I'm just gonna dress up, and this time I'm gonna be nice to myself. I'm not gonna limit myself to just clothes out of my wardrobe. I'm allowed to use the LARP kit. So it's gonna get wild. I genuinely have no idea how many of these prompts I'm going to get through, so we're gonna start and we're gonna go for it, and we're gonna see what happens. I'm also not planning this basically at all, so there may be some false starts, there may be some chopping and changing, but I think that's a really great basis for us to have a conversation about how you put together a costume, because it often seems like if you watch people on the internet, they're like, ah yes, here's an idea, and I executed it exactly the way I imagined I would. Nothing changed, nothing got tested and thrown out. We had an idea, we did a surprisingly detailed and beautiful sketch, and then we produced exactly the way that we expected it. It doesn't work like that. That's editing. That's YouTube magic, or possibly Instagram magic. But when you show up to an event, or you get to the LARP and someone appears and is like, here's my costume, you don't see that process of trial and error and going, oh, hang on, yeah, no, these trousers don't work. I need a different shirt. More accessories. Always more accessories. Let's just get into it. So, first off the bat, we have NPC who welcomes you to the village. I love it. No, I love everything about this. Okay, so you get NPCs in a lot of things, including LARP games, but I'm thinking computer game, right? The mental image I have is of one of those comedy MMO inspired videos. So what do video game NPCs look like? I'm thinking fantasy. It doesn't necessarily have to be, but village. I'm going fantasy. There's not going to be a lot of loose or drapey parts of the clothing, because that would be hard to animate, and you're not going to do that for NPCs. You're going to want quite a close-fitting mesh. So I don't play any MMOs. You know what I have been consuming secondhand a great deal? Tears of the Kingdom. I'm thinking a Zelda NPC, specifically a this generation Zelda NPC. Those guys are surprisingly detailed, but they're still very close-fitting outfits. So they also wear a lot of layers, a relatively limited color palette. It's not all one color. It's a little bit more varied. I actually think this shirt is not a bad, what I've got on now, which is just this kind of long, I think it's actually a pajama shirt, but I don't wear it like that, and some loose trousers. I think this works. Okay, yes, I have this tunic dress thing that is, it's brown, it's relatively close fitting, it's a good shape. My very first video on the channel was making this. You don't need to watch that video, it's not very good. Oh, I think I wanted an apron. Yes. Okay, I have a bunch of aprons, it turns out, but they're all a bit fancy or detailed, and I think actually just the really simple one that I made for my pilgrim costume. 2021 was vintage Halloween costumes. I do recommend you go back and watch that video because it might be about to get real relevant again. Anyway, this I think will work. This is great, but it's a long apron, so I think I want a skirt under it. Otherwise, the meshes wouldn't work. Brown skirt. I've got a lot of brown going on now, so I think I need to bring in some other colors. I'm also thinking a belt, obviously a belt. I'm also thinking lots of Zelda NPCs wear hats. I don't have a lot of hats, but I do have a cap, like a 18th century style cap. That would work. Okay, so I found this. This is a cowl that I knitted out of chunky, thick and thin handspun yarn. It's got these big decorative buttons on it. I feel like I've seen a lot of Zelda NPCs with like a scarf because presumably animating around here is weird. I think that'd work. I think that'll look really good. I am feeling that this is super brown though. I'm going to try it on. I'm going to see if I feel like I need to add anything else. I'm not actually going to go heavy on accessories for this because it's just an NPC, they're not that detailed. I'm going to go easy on accessories to start off with. I'm going to see how we do. Okay, so this is what we're working with so far. I ummed and ahed about skirt over trousers and skirt under tunic and that. This is the way everything lies the nicest, and yes, getting all the waistbands to fit neatly under the one belt was a nightmare. So now I just need to figure this out. So the nice thing about this button-up cowl is that you can wear it in a bunch of different ways. This feels very 16th, 17th century partlet, which I think combined with the apron and the cap, I think I've gone less Zelda and a little bit more, I don't know, this is like maybe a Tudor-inspired fantasy. But either way, I'm digging it, and I think that the color palette is actually not bad now that I've got everything on. The white is so high contrast that the brown, purple, and orange, all being kind of similar, is actually working really well. And this is 100% one of these costumes a cosplayer would look at and go, for Christ's sake, I thought that was a dress, but they're two slightly different colors, so it must actually be two pieces. Which is, nothing says video game concept art more than would it make a cosplayer really angry. Also, these boots are new to me and I thought they were more broken in than they are, so I'm actually wearing them on top of the blisters that they caused like 3 days ago. It's kind of painful. They're the only sort of brown boots I have. First costume. I call that a success. I'm gonna get so warm doing this, I can already tell. My default with all costumes is more layers. What shall we go for next? Celestial Bureaucrat. I think I remember the first time around I did this. This was a pair. It was a Celestial Bureaucrat and then it was like an Infernal Administrator or something. And so I've done the other one. I've done the matching one. Okay, so not to get super stereotypical about it, but we're gonna go light colors. We're gonna go white. We're gonna go creams and ivories, maybe some gold. Might see if I can incorporate some shimmers, some iridescence. I'm thinking layers because of course I am. am. I'm also obviously thinking very androgynous, because angels and demons have no gender and you cannot convince me otherwise. I'd like it if it looked like it fit into the same universe as the Infernal Administrator that I did before. I mean, like everyone, I watched Good Omens 2, and therefore in my head I'm like, well, obviously they're in love. Having said that, for the 2020 season, I did a lot of makeup looks. That was a really big element of it. If you're trying to convey someone who is not human, a really easy way to do that is to mess around with your face shape and color. I'm a little bit more limited on that this time, for reasons that will become clear when I do the makeup video that I've been promising to do for like 2 years. I haven't bought anything new since pre-2020, so all the products that I used in 2020 are very expired. Let's all be honest, I'm going to use some of them anyway, but we're going to keep it minimum. Anyway, Celestial Bureaucrat, what have we got? So I have a lot of white and cream base layers. I have... Ooh, this is nice. I can do something with this. Okay, we'll put that on the pile. This is one of the simplest things I've ever made. It's just a tube with a drawstring at the top. It's a solid maybe. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, I forgot about this. This is a really simple robe. Because it's a grey-green shift, it's a little gloomy. We might be able to layer it. I'm gonna have a look. Okay, so this is what I meant about process. I'm not sure what I want with this, and I'm not sure how the different colors and textures are gonna work together. So I've pulled a bunch of stuff. So this is another robe. This one's just a plain gray. I've got some silver leggings that are like metallic. I've also just got some plain cream colored trousers. I've got that one white button up that I wear all the time, looking very worse for wear. And then when I was first getting into sewing, I had this coat I really liked and it was falling apart, and I was like, I'm gonna make myself a new coat, because as a beginner sewist, that's a reasonable goal to have. I'm gonna make it in white wool with brown velvet cuffs and collar. I was told in no uncertain terms that you can't have a white coat. No one has a white coat. That's silly. You should not have a white coat. Fast forward 20 years and here I am. I own like 8 white coats and jackets because white outerwear is still one of my favorite things. Maybe I should make myself that coat. I'm always showing on the channel like, hey, maybe I should make this. And we all know, I think deep down, look me in the eye, we all know that when we say that, we mean in a mythical future time where we have, you know, money, time and energy. Chances of it actually happening. So anyway, I have this jacket, which is very cool. It's a little bit stained. There's a very cool toned cream. I have this silver bolero that you might recognize from the thrift store costume videos. I have this jacket, which is also very nice, but this is a very warm toned cream. It's almost a peach in the right light, very different. And then I have this sort of sleeveless long waistcoat thing. I don't know, but this is almost white. It's less cream than either of the others. Part of me feels like I should have something on my head for this. I'm gonna see if I can maybe find like a necklace that'll do that. So I think I want it to be quite minimal, and I think once I've settled on the outfit, we are maybe going to do some makeup, but that's a big maybe. Sorry, my cat is being my cat. Okay, so the trousers question is pretty much moot, given that this thing is so long. I think all the silver leggings would do is be visible through it, which I don't know that I'm about. I feel like I want to be more of an ambiguous column of a human. I mean, more so than I'm already an ambiguous column of a human. Let's try on the other bits. So this is fine. It's not doing a lot for me. It hits about the right length. It's a little bit more interesting, but it breaks up the color a bit. We're gonna leave it on, and we're gonna keep adding to it, and we're gonna see how that goes. So I actually went with this one first because I think I could reasonably put jackets on top of this. It's going to be a bit awkward, but it'll work. Undecided. Let's just keep putting more stuff on and see how we go. So this is the warm toned jacket. It doesnn't work with the grey. I don't think it works with the grey. I'm also not like getting a lot of the grey with a jacket on, which is something I hadn't really thought about. Hello. Well, welcome back. Can I have your thoughts? No, you're far too busy. The grey robe is maybe not doing very much in this current setup. I'm gonna try a different jacket and see how I feel. Ooh! Oh, okay. I super want this to be a yes, but I'm not, I don't know. Let's try the last jacket 1 second. Okay, so a couple of things. One, this jacket is way more stained than I thought it was. I should get this dry cleaned. I would combo this jacket and this waistcoat, but I don't know if it's for this character, if you see what I mean. I guess what I'm thinking right now is that I have to make a decision, and the decision is, what is this character like? Because with the silver jacket, I felt like that was a softer, not necessarily more feminine, but, oh, maybe I mean more feminine. It's a bit more Aziraphale, if you get my drift. Whereas this combo, and I think I would take the grey out because I don't think it's adding anything with this combo, but with the shoulders and the sharp cut, and okay, it doesn't help that this jacket is in kind of a poor state. This is very problematic Archangel. I feel like I could do some administrative nonsense in this outfit. This is not a very nice bureaucrat. So the question is, which one do I wanna... I'm gonna put the other robe on top and see how I feel about that, and I think that's gonna swing it. Yeah, okay. I think this is it. Did I just never... Past me was a feckless fool and has left loose threads trailing on this robe, which admittedly I did make it really quickly, so I'll cut myself some slack. I think this is it. I think this is what we're going with. I could take the grey robe off. I honestly can't be bothered. It's not really adding anything, but it's not really taking anything away either because you can't see it. It's going to take more time to take off all those layers. So I like this. Think a bit about what I want to do in the accessories. I think a lapel pin might be in order, and if I can, I want to find something that's going to sit on my forehead. See you in 5. I feel like I could keep adding to this, but we're gonna stop. I could not find anything to go around my head. So I did what I do best, and I drew a line on my face. It's funny if you've ever LARPed with me. I can't tell you why I think the fishnet gloves work. I just know that I do think they work. I also got a couple of necklaces, one that's very minimalist. This one is like an origami cat in silver, and then this one is a mask. I've obviously got the stag, which I think ties into the bronze belt very nicely. And then finally, don't ask me why I think wearing 1 drop earring ends up looking way queerer than wearing 2, but it does. And this is like a minimalist sunray mid-century modern kind of thing. It felt appropriate. I am also again wearing boots that I picked purely because they're mostly white. I like this a lot. I would play this character, and I'm kind of getting a sense in my head of who this character would be, especially, you know, contrasted to the Infernal character that I did 3 years ago. We obviously set out with the premise that these two characters, same universe, very different, probably in love. And I'm starting to see the shapes of how that would work, because fundamentally I think they're both very, we're not getting like, oh, this is the grumpy one and this is the one that's nice. No, they are on diametrically opposed viewpoints while being basically the same person, which I think means that it starts out, Infernal is very admin, paperwork, buy the book, do it properly, or don't do it at all. You screw up your forms, I will find you, and I will make your life a living hell. Whereas this guy, I feel, is a little bit more like, we're doing it for the right reasons, so, you know, the ends justify the means. But I will pick a line and I will stick to it until one of us is dead. And it's not going to be me. So I think they start out as, you're Celestial, I'm Infernal. Clearly this means we are mortal enemies and cannot possibly work together. Oh yeah, in this scenario, they've been forced to work together for some reason, right? Neither of them are happy about it. And then they get into big knockdown, drag out fights over whether you do the right thing but not in the right way, or whether you do the right process and maybe don't get the results that you want. Like, what is important here? And there is much fighting and arguing, and at some point they kiss. I'm invested in this. I think it works. Okay. I'm usually a glasses wearer, but I don't always want to wear my glasses as a character, and for many years, I just didn't wear glasses. I do actually have disposable contacts now. It's a thing that I can wear if I need to. I just couldn't be bothered today. What I meant to mention, incidentally, regarding this costume, and I didn't, when I did the Infernal costume, I picked a whole bunch of jewelry that was black circles or faceted cabochon gems, because I thought it looked like eyes, and then I also picked out some jewelry that looked like bugs, with the idea being that maybe these could come to life to do their work. This guy, again, picked some stuff just for the aesthetic, the very clean, mid-century modern angular lines, but I also, again, picked out stuff that is figurative, so we've got the stag head and the cat and the mask, again with the idea that this is not just jewelry, maybe it does something, although I think for the celestial bureaucrat, rather than the bugs coming to life and then doing your bidding, I think this is more of adopting different forms, picking up on the idea that angels have sometimes many different faces. I don't know, I'm thinking way too much into this, and I should just write this as a LARP setting, because that's like quick and easy to do. Anyway. Hello. Okay, so here's what happened. Normally when you're making a video, the amount of footage that you get is not really representative of how long the video is going to be. So you can spend all afternoon filming and end up with a 15-minute video. Now, admittedly, I didn't think I had a 15-minute video, but I thought I was hitting up maybe 40. No, more like double that. So, this is Ash from the future to tell you that this is what we're going to do. We're going to skip ahead. It's going to be a little bit weird, it's going to be a little bit disjointed, but we've done the first 2 looks and we're now going to skip and we're going to do the last 2 looks, and there were 3 more looks in the middle that you will see at a later date. I'm making no promises about that later date, but it'll be soon because the footage is all there. I just have to edit it. That's good for me to have in the bank. But because I was filming them consecutively, it means that my clothes are about to drastically change. You just have to accept that some stuff is going to happen in the middle, and we'll come back to that another day. Okay? We good? We're good. All right, let's get back into it. Okay, next one. Let's try something a bit different. I'm pretty sure I remember, or if I can't remember, I can guess who gave me this one. Flyboy Pilot. Did you mean me on a normal day? This is interesting, and we're going to learn from previous mistakes. The first thing to figure out is what kind of pilot? When? What are they doing? I feel like we've just done a fantasy, so maybe not a dragon pilot. Let's go a little bit more. I'm not really feeling historical. I think that would be... it would be fine, but I don't think it would be that interesting. I would much rather do something a little bit more sci-fi. I like sci-fi. Let's just have a bit of a think and a bit of a rummage. Okay, I have an idea, and we're going to see if it works. Flyboy Pilot. We've got some rebellious vibes. We've got some chaotic energy combined with a youthful overconfidence. And then I realized I own this. This is my denim jacket. I wear it basically the whole summer. Less so now. It gets too cold. When it gets a little bit colder, I'll start wearing it layered underneath warm coats. But right now, it's not currently in rotation. This is cool. This is something that I never would have thought of building a costume around. But of course I could build a costume around this. This is a great statement piece. It is very queer though, like super queer. So that got me thinking, since the prompt is obviously Fly Boy Pilot. So here's a weird thing. I don't usually play trans characters. Sometimes I play non-binary characters, but generally that's because they are like just outside of the realm of gender totally. It's not, I never think of the non-binary characters I play as trans. They're just not gendered. Does that make sense? I play some cis women characters and I play lots of cis male characters. I generally don't play trans mask characters. Don't know why. Maybe this is the one. Maybe this is the character for whom that would be a good idea. So, base level, I'm gonna grab a binder. That's what we're gonna start with. Okay, don't judge me. I haven't washed my binders since we got back off holiday. And this is what I wear to the beach, so like, they're a little bit salty. But you wouldn't even know that if I didn't tell you. So, I think this is the one that I want to wear. What am I going to wear on the bottoms? My first instinct is to wear the jumpsuit again, but I don't really want to wear pink lace for a pilot. Wait, don't I have another? Yeah, I do. I have a whole other white jumpsuit. Why do I keep accumulating white jumpsuits? So I think we're gonna go with that. When I was hunting for that, I also found... So we have this idea of World War II pilots wearing like silk scarves because it's so dashing. It was actually because their uniforms were so badly made because they had to churn them out in a hurry because lol, Air Forces weren't really a thing. Their shirt collars were really itchy, and with the flight suit on, they rubbed. So they would wear scarves. They were also, quite a lot of them were well off because you had to be well off to learn how to fly. So they just wore silk scarves to protect their necks from their uniforms. But that means that the dashing scarf is now a pilot thing. I think we're going to go with that. And I think I'm going to pull out my favorite shirt because why not? Because we've introduced some red, so I want some other bit of red. And then I think I'm going to grab a whole load of belts and harnesses. We're going to see what happens. Okay, I'm feeling good about this one. I feel like you can tell how long this video is taking me to make because of how much darker it's getting in every single shot. The joys of winter in Britain. Anyway, this was really quick. It was really straightforward. I kind of love it. Several of these costumes have felt very, that's it, that's the costume. This is one that I feel like I could very easily expand this into, get a couple of different tops. I can maybe get a different jumpsuit. I could work on, it's a harness from one of my Lolita sets with 2 belts attached for the strap work. Just wear more belts. Usually the answer is just add more belts. Anywhere you want to add a belt, add a belt. I feel like I could build off this basic silhouette and change up quite a few of the component parts of this and still feel like the same character, which doesn't necessarily make for the most interesting initial design, but it's super useful if this is a campaign character that you're going to wear multiple times across multiple different events across several years. Absolutely ideal. Also, this is the most annoying way to wear a scarf in the history of the world. I don't really feel like any of the others worked with what I've got going on, so we deal. I feel like that one was highly successful. However, I'm never one to quit while I'm ahead, so let's do one more. Questing Witch of Virtuous Shadow. So I don't know if this is a reference to something, in which case probably a whole bunch of people are like, oh, you should do this, but if it is something, I don't know what that thing is. So I'm gonna do my own thing. That's a lot all in one go. Let's break it down. Thing 1, witch. I can do witch. Hold on. Et voila, I can do witch. Probably I will put something on this hat. It's a bit plain, but I've resisted putting anything permanent on. I've got this one and I've got a red one. I've resisted putting anything permanent on them because who knows what I'm going to need them for in future. We can do something with that. Not entirely sure what I want to do with Virtuous, but Shadow is giving me a color scheme. So let's have a look. I don't want to go too heavy on the black, but I think purple. I think we can get into the purple. Well, let's see what I've got. Okay, I've had a good rummage and I think we've got some interesting stuff going on here. So first up, this might be a little bit too modern for what I'm gonna end up going for. I don't think she's appeared on the channel yet. This is my late medieval fitted kirtle pattern, the one that I made my heraldic pride gowns out of. It's that pattern, but done with Halloween fabric with an invisible zip up the front because I just wear this as a normal dress. I've got this petticoat that I've had for a million years. It's gonna be an underlayer, so like whatever. I have this this coat-like object, which is incredibly wrinkled, but we're just going to ignore that. It's got open sleeves to it. It's quite cool. I've also got this. This is more of a dark red. This is another one of my slightly out-of-hand lockdown projects. This was a kimono, and now it's a full skirt, big droopy sleeves, medieval-inspired dress. My gut is telling me that that's consistent with the color scheme, but another part of me is saying that it isn't, so we might have to see if the sleeves clash. I have this tunic, which is black with some see-through black organza details. It has got blue on it though. I'm in two minds about this one. I have this underbust corset, which has a fun little ruffle on it, and this kind of leads me into thinking about the final piece of the puzzle, as it were, which is the questing part. I still have no idea what virtuous means, but the questing part, that to me says you are an adventurer. You are on a trip. You are on your travels. You are moving from place to place. So we're going to want belts. We're going to want belt pouches. We're going to want, if I was doing this as like a full LARP kit costume, not the last thing I'm doing at the end of the day, I would probably be making all kinds of bits and pieces that you could hang off your belt, have exciting things going on. I might just add some jewelry and call it a day. But I think the first thing to do is to dress up this hat. Okay, we're doing the try everything on again. That's the only way this is going to work. First off, I'm wearing the underskirt that I picked out and the print dress. And yes, I know my invisible zip is not invisible. I don't sew them very often. And I was in a hurry to get this done in time to go on holiday, which, yeah, solid choice, I'll be honest. The pattern needs a few tweaks. I'm reasonably confident the black tunic isn't going to work, so let's try that one on first. Okay, it doesn't work, but not for the reasons I thought. I was also in a massive hurry when I made this. Do you see how the gauze are inset so low? And I remember why I did this. It was because of the outfit I was wearing it with. But they're so low. And this dress flares from the waist, basically. They just don't play nicely together. It's not actually the colors that's the problem. It's the shape. But that's okay. I'm all right with that. Okay. So I think this one could go either way. If I'm really honest, I don't think it doesn't work, but I also don't think it's the best option. But also a part of me is like, what if we just made it work? We could just make this work. Let's try and make this work. Remember how I told you this jacket had weird sleeves? Well, it does, but that actually works in our favor because it means that we can combine two different styles of weird sleeves, and now we have sleeveception. And I'm definitely feeling like I think the corset is a good idea. I just can't decide if I want it on top of or underneath this layer. I think I want it underneath. Are we starting to feel it? I feel like this is starting to come together. Needs the hat, obviously. Gonna add some belts, some belt pouches, some accessories. But I think this is a pretty solid base. It's a lot busier than the other costumes I've done. There's multiple prints going on, but I think that the witch aesthetic is so maximalist that actually this works in my favor and it makes it more witchy. So now I just gotta add all the accessories in the world. I think that's all we're going to do tonight because I've run out of light and battery and energy. I hope you've enjoyed this video. These are going to drive me nuts. See if I can try and get through this without anything else clinking. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to keep the YouTube gods happy. Follow me on other platforms if you'd like to see pictures of my cat. Down in the description box, you'll find a link to my Ko-fi page where you can make a one-off or recurring donation to support this channel and a hypothetical future where I have the time and energy and resources to write a LARP setting where Celestials and Infernals have to work together and fight a lot and then maybe kiss. We all want it. It's very clear. Ko-fi supporters get early access to all of my videos, plus the occasional extra sneak peek, and I couldn't do what I do without their help. Dream big, and I'll see you next time.